I tried 3 online businesses within 3 years and failed at every single one of them. Then I found something that completely changed the game for me. In this video today, I'm going to break down all 3 of my online businesses, why they didn't work, and I'm going to break down exactly what I found, how I found it, and why it works, and how you can implement it by the end of this video. All right, we're just going to jump straight into it. Online business number 1 that I tried was SMMA, social media marketing agency for short. Okay, I got into this business model through a friend actually. So at the age of 19, I'm 25 now for context, I went off to college like most people do at that age after they graduate high school. I did 1 semester at a small D3 school in Lynchburg, Virginia, and immediately hated every second of it. Now, I always hated school. I always told myself if I got the opportunity to drop out, I was going to take it. So I get to school, pretty much instantly hate it. I got recruited up in basketball, so I liked that part of it, but the school part, hated it. In November, I had a friend of mine, we were talking one night, and he was like, hey, I do this thing, SMMA. I think you'd be really good at it. At the time, he was doing Facebook ads for gyms. When I came back home in December, I decided I was going to do ads for chiropractors because I had gone to one in high school because I was injured and it really helped me. So started learning this, implementing, sending cold DMs, cold emails, that kind of stuff over the winter break. Got some meetings, got some clients, and then 1 week in February, the week before I was supposed to go back to college, I landed a whale client, a massive client. I closed the deal, collected payment, went to my mom and said, I'm done. I'm dropping out. This is it for me. So I was actually quite successful with this business pretty early on. Now, a few months later, in June of 2020, I moved out on my own to where I live now in North Carolina. And this is where the downfall began because I never had real money because I was an athlete and my parents' rule was you're either an athlete or you work. And being an athlete is a full-time job, the level I was doing it. So I never had money before. So 2 things happened. Number 1, the biggest thing is I blew it. I blew all of it. Had a ton of fun. I partied. I was living life. I was this 20-year-old stud in a luxury apartment in a new city. I was crushing life. But yeah, didn't know how to manage my money and ended up just partying too much and started losing clients and eventually lost the business. And the other thing is, yeah, COVID didn't help. I was working with chiropractors, so that didn't do me any favors. So I lost my last client at the very end of January of 2021. When this happened, I decided to pivot into my second business, which was online fitness coaching. Now, the reason I chose this is because I was very passionate about fitness at the time. I still am, but now it's just kind of like a thing I do. Not really like passionate about it anymore. I loved it. I was addicted to it back then. It was a part of who I was, a big part of my personality. So I decided to do this. And what I did is I purchased a very expensive mentorship. That was probably the worst mentorship I've ever purchased in my life. Won't name names. The guy is not even around anymore. It was awful. I had a terrible experience with it. And didn't really help very much. So I immediately didn't really have this mentorship. I didn't really have a proven working system. And basically what they told me to do is just go on Instagram and do this hashtag strategy where you go on certain hashtags and you just DM people. Yeah, I'd get meetings and stuff, but it was all outbound, okay? Like no one was coming to me because they weren't even teaching anything about content. They didn't tell you to post content. They didn't teach how to post content, which is insane. So I did this from January 2021 up until June of 2021. And I got so burnt out. I was so tired sending 100 DMs a day, all by hand, manually. I was doing it. And I was starting to lose my passion for fitness. And I was like, no, I love this. I love fitness too much. I can't do this. I gotta stop. And so I did. And then eventually, in the next month, I got a job as a bartender and a server at a restaurant. And I had to do it because I had to pay my bills. And man, this was the lowest I ever was in 2021. I was a stud 20-year-old who figured it out, who dropped out, who made this work, who was making really good money for a 20-year-old. And I lost all of it. It was all my fault. So I really took it hard. But I never stopped. I never, ever, ever stopped. Fast forward to 2022, I actually decided to get a job. I kind of gave up on entrepreneurship. I was like, maybe this isn't for me. And got a job. I was there from April to December. Got laid off. I was in sales. It was tech. So if you knew anything about tech at that time, they overhired and they had to fire a lot of people. Which now brings us to business number 3, which I started along business number 4, but I'll get there in a second. Business number 3 was my second marketing agency. Now, the friend that I had back in 2019 that kind of got me into it in the first place had stuck with it, unlike myself. And he was now super successful, running a 7-figure agency, doing really well, doing podcasts and stuff. And I saw that and I was happy for him. I truly was. But I looked myself in the mirror and I was like, what the hell? How could I was really upset with myself. I was like, how could I let this happen? How did he survive and I didn't? You know, I beat myself up over it a lot. So I decided to give it another shot. But I quickly realized that the SMMA industry that I left back in 2020 was no longer the same in 2023. It had changed in pretty much every bad way that it could. The technique I used to get clients back then was simply go to Facebook, find business pages, shoot them a DM, set meetings, close appointments, okay? That no longer worked. Facebook would actually shut your account down after a certain amount of DMs. If you sent too many per hour, they shut you down. They didn't used to do that back in the day. There was really no restrictions. And because in 2019, the marketing agency industry wasn't very saturated. So these businesses hadn't really been hit up yet by a whole bunch of 18-year-olds trying to sell them on a marketing plan, right? Now, in 2023, that was no longer the case. You couldn't do that anymore. So you really couldn't, there was no way to get free clients. That was gone. And now all these businesses had been hit up by all these kids trying to sell them marketing packages that no one wanted anymore. So I learned that the hard way. Figured it out and I was like, wow, okay, this changed a lot. So pivoted to paid ads because that was the best way that people were getting clients and it was inbound. So cool. But what I really realized was that industry, there was no way to get free clients anymore and it was so saturated. So that was the problem and is now still the problem with SMA and most online businesses. They are way too oversaturated. So what did I do about it? How did I get to where I'm at? How did I just pick up a brand new 2025 Porsche 911? Well, let's dive into that. Let's dive into business number 4. I actually started this right alongside business number 3. That, of course, is my home services company, my wallpaper installation company, okay? So basically what I did, I got laid off 2 days before Christmas of 2022. Then my mom was the reason I got into wallpaper. She was like, I told them when I got home that day, drove home to where my parents live, and I was like, hey, I got laid off. And my mom was like, well, hey, I made this much doing wallpaper installation this year. Maybe you should give this a try. And she showed me the number. I was like, holy crap. I won't say the number. It was high. I was like, sure. So in January, I started learning it. And in February, I started getting jobs and continuously shadowing people. And in March, I cracked my first 10K month, but I wasn't sold yet. I wasn't sold on home services because it was cool, but it's not what I was used to. I wasn't used to going out, getting up early, and having to be somewhere at a certain time. I was this online business kid. I had no discipline really, besides going to the gym. That's really all I had. So I tried to do the agency thing again. It didn't go well. It was not, the opportunity that was once there was no longer there. And I figured this out quick. But what started to happen was the wallpaper business kept growing and growing and growing. I got more and more clients and I didn't have to work for them. I didn't have to work for my clients. They all came to me. I was like, what is this? This is a business model where I don't spend any money on ads. No, people just come to me. What is this? If I struck gold? That's what it felt like. So in early 2024, I was now doing 3 things. I was running my home services company, still trying to do my agency, and now closing for another agency because I thought, well, this was a big agency. I can kind of get in, learn the secret to this guy, and make some money closing for him. And I had never been in a position where I felt more torn apart. Nothing got my full attention, so everything suffered. I wasn't closing that well, the guy I was working with. I wasn't doing well with my agency, and my wallpaper business was stagnant. So I knew in my head I had to decide. You gotta pick one. And for 2 weeks I went back and forth between all 3. I was like, well, I could do this wallpaper thing, that's cool, but no, I'm a marketing agency. I should just go all in on my agency. And I was like, no, like this guy over here, the guy I'm closing for, like he's really moving well, he's doing well. I should hop on the bandwagon. I should hop on with him. Well, that guy made it easy for me because he ended up scamming me out of $8,000. And then when that happened, I just had no desire to be part of the SMA world anymore because I also realized the people that it started attracting were really bad. Okay. There were some really great people in this mentorship that I was a part of and in the industry, but there were some really bad ones too. And this guy was really bad. He doesn't even have an agency anymore. He's a total scumbag. So that made the decision easy for me. I went all in on home services. And when I did that, blew up. It exploded. I think I did that in March of 2024. April that month, or April that year, I bought my Silverado, which I still have. This right here. Okay. That's pretty much my dream truck. I mean, I'm not complicated or picky when it comes to trucks. I like a nice looking, clean Chevy Silverado. Then in August of 2024, I bought my C8 Corvette. Loved that car. Just got rid of it. Awesome car. 2024 was the best financial year of my life. I went all in on my business. I was doing one thing. I was doing it very well. And I made the most money I've ever made. Now, fast forward to 2025. I just bought this 911 Carrera, badass, brand new, my first brand new car. I've already beat what I've made in 2024, and it's August, so we're going to do really well this year. But home services changed my life. It changed my entrepreneur journey. And the real reason is, guys, is because it's not saturated, okay? And there are some niches in home service that are more saturated than others, for sure. But when you compare it to online business, it's not even in the same conversation. Online business is so much more saturated, okay? Let's think about it, guys. Everyone wants to do it. Everyone's making content online about online business. TikTok Shop, SMMA, freelance brand scaling, which is SMMA, drop shipping, day trading. This is what all you guys want because it goes into the idea, it feeds your laziness. I'm going to call it as it is. It feeds your laziness. If you are watching this and online business is appealing and attractive to you, it's probably because a little bit of you at least is lazy. Because, oh, work from home, work from computer. You don't have to go out in the real world. Oh, you can just do nothing, work 4 hours a week and do nothing. Bullshit. It's not how it works. Okay. Home services, though, for the people that are willing to work with their hands, you will be rich. You will be millionaires. Home services will make me a millionaire. By this time next year, I promise you I will be a millionaire. Liquid millionaire. Okay. That's the power of home services. Online business, the supply is here, the demand is here. With home service, it's the other way around. The demand is here, the supply is here. Why do I get clients that come to me without paying a dime for them? Or leads? Because there's just a giant need. And I'm very visible. People can find me. So now that you know the power of home services, how do you capitalize on it? Well, let's talk about it. In the next 3 years, it's going to remain relatively untapped. Okay, once we cross that 3-year mark, it's going to start getting to the point where it's going to get saturated. People are catching on. People are going to see videos like this. Other people are going to come along. There's already people doing it. It will be one of those things that eventually does become saturated, just like online business. The pendulum will shift. Okay, so you have a limited time to take advantage of this. Okay, by 2028, it's going to be a different ball game. I promise you. Okay. So the number one thing you need to do right away is pick your niche. This is easy. Go to ChatGPT. Hey, what are the top 3 to 5 home service niches in my area? Or based upon what you know about me. If you use ChatGPT a lot, it kind of knows some stuff about you. It has a memory function. It will remember. The more you use it, the more it gets to know you. Ask it. Pick one of those things, okay? I think there's 2 top ones I recommend right now: wallpaper installation and window cleaning. I personally do wallpaper installation. The learning curve is high. But once you get over that, it's the most unsaturated niche, and it's relatively high ticket. Window cleaning, one of the more saturated home service niches. But if you're willing to go door to door, you'll crush. You'll do very well. Everyone I know that's doing window cleaning, my business partner does it, people in my program do it, they crush. So that's a great one to look at. But they're all good. Do something you like, something you're passionate about, and plus if you have experience doing it. The second thing is you got to learn the trade if you don't already know it. So YouTube it for easy ones like window cleaning, pressure washing, stuff like that. But for wallpaper installation, you got to get your hands dirty. Reach out to other installation companies or people in your area to try to shadow jobs. Do it for free, at least for your first few times. And they might even ask you to work part-time as a helper. Take the opportunity if you can. I highly recommend you do. And the third thing you need to learn how to do is to market and sell, okay? These go hand in hand. For me, I don't sell, I market only because I don't have to sell. My service is very good, and it's, again, there's not a lot of competition in my niche, so I don't have to sell. I don't have to fight for jobs. If you are in a more saturated niche, though, like especially window cleaning or exterior washing, pressure washing, then yeah, you got to learn how to sell, because a lot of it too, you're also going to be going door to door, pest control, stuff like that. So you got to learn how to sell. But the big one is you got to learn how to market. So use tools like Google Business Profile, social media, a website, word of mouth, referrals, stuff like that. I also have strategic connections like interior designers and general contractors, custom home builders, things like that too. So those are the 3 steps, okay? If you can learn how to do that, you're going to crush. And then it only really takes 3 months to implement in my niche. You can do it faster in niches like window cleaning or pressure washing. It's really that simple. So take advantage of this. And I'm telling you guys, in 2028, it's going to be a lot harder to get your feet in the door. It's going to be a lot harder to start these businesses because it's going to be a lot more competitive because people are starting to wake up and realize the opportunity from seeing videos like this. I'm sorry for those of y'all who've been in the industry for a while. I couldn't help it but make videos about it. It's the truth. You know how untapped and unsaturated home services is right now. So get in while you can, okay? If you want my help personally to either start and or scale your home services company to 10K a month and well beyond that, go to my Instagram. The link is in the description. I will personally mentor you over the next 6 months on how exactly to do this with a guarantee that you hit 10K within those 6 months or your money back. Again, go to my Instagram, DM me the word service. Let's work. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some value from it. Make sure to leave a like, a comment, and hit that subscribe button because we're about to start going crazy over here on the YouTube. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.